Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
Coming to you from the chilly slopes of Mount Kenya, this is the Great Debaters Contest, Meru edition. Still on Matters SDGs, I'm your dashing host, Austin Nyambok.
And I am Mariam Bashar. Welcome to the show. We start you off with an all-ladies battle between Chuka girls and Chief Mbogori girls on whether technology firms should share their users' private information with the government. We'll let the ladies take the stage and wow us now. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
Jane Wende from Chuka Girls High School, here to propose the motion. Technology firms should share the personal information of their users with the government. Technology firms. Firms is simply a company. These are companies which apply scientific knowledge to give us service like internet. The personal information. This is the personal data. This is my personal details, financial records, health status, biometric data, among others. A government, these are a group of people ruling a state or a country. If the government is given my personal information, 1, it will help it learn more about the demographic trends and effectively plan for a nation. This is the data related to population and the people in it. With this data, most of our country depend on census, which is done after a period of time. Like in Kenya, it's done after 10 years. 10 years, so it's 2009 to 2019. In between these years, there are changes. People are relocating. People are getting better jobs. People are moving to other places. These all changes are not catered for when the government is allocating its funds. But if my personal information is revealed to the government by the technology firms, the government will be able to know all this about me, the financial status that I have, and as they relocate their funds, they'll do it with the changes in mind. 2, if the government is given my personal details and our personal details, there will be creation of jobs. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, at now, the rate of unemployment stands at 40%, and the highest percentage, it's the youth, people between 18 years to 34. And for a graduate to get a job, it takes 4 to 5 years. That is per the British funded research about unemployment. Now, if this government is availed with the personal information, they will require manpower to handle the information. And who are these who will handle the information? These are our graduates who have gone to the universities and studied on ICT. Would we not have solved a problem of unemployment? Yes, we would have. If the government gets this personal information, it will be easy for them to handle their agencies and know about the economic factors about them. A good example is HELP. This is a board which helps students to get education with the expectation that afterwards, these students will come back to pay the loans. But what happens? These students normally run away, and the help doesn't have the adequate information they require for them to search for this student, and will end up incurring losses. Most students will lose the chances to get the loans because the cash will not be accounted for. Is this what you want? Furthermore, why keep the information to yourself? You are not guilty. So I prefer that we give the government our information and they'll make good use of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your opening statements.
Technology firms should share personal information about their users to the government. I am Emma Washira, Chief Mbogori Girls, and I am here to strongly oppose this motion. I will start by definition of terms. Technology refers to the scientific knowledge used in practical ways in industry. Firms are business organizations. Users are those who handle information, e.g., information and technology devices. For example, the phones, you have computers and laptops. This motion simply means that business organizations running technology should share the their users' personal information with the government. You cannot use a microscope to observe stars, neither can you use a telescope to observe organelles. Sometime between 106 and 43 BC, a great Roman orator once said, the wise are instructed by reason, ordinary minds by experience, the stupid by necessity, and brutes by instinct. That was more than 2,000 years ago. Yet, listening to the arguments made about sharing personal information with the government, you cannot help but feel that he was referring to our times. He was talking of the modern times, for it is in this modern era that arguments are made without the benefit of reason. It is in this modern era that the benefit of upholding human dignity, which is disclosing of personal information by technology firms to government, is really lowering our human dignity. I'll start by saying that democracy without freedom of expression is not really democracy. By giving the government the mandate to view our personal information, to come in between our communications, to come in between our privacy, to come in between our texts, our chats and calls, will deprive us of the freedom we've left. It will rather give them the mandate to strip up of all the powers we've got, the power to speak out, the power to express yourself. You have the power to express yourself. You have the power of privacy. No one should intervene in your privacy. Giving the government this private information will promote dictatorship in our country. In the recent past, we had a dictatorial government. This dictatorial government would use this personal and private information to exterminate those they think they are pinpointing them, those they think are against them, those who think that whatever the government is doing is not right. So I strongly oppose this motion that technology firms should share personal information about their users to the government. Thank you.
Okay, we'll hear rebuttals from both the teams, beginning with the proposers. You have 3 minutes.
Brenda Mokiri, Chuka Girls, here to propose the motion that says technology firms should share personal information about their users with the government. My sister, you said you defined a government for us. I would like to correct that. A government is a state or people living in a state who have the mandate to rule over the others. Secondly, who says when you give the government your personal information promotes dictatorship? No, it doesn't. Ask me why. The answer is, if you give the government that chance to share your information, it will be protecting you more than anything. I have a question. If you are innocent, what have you to hide? Have you killed somebody? Oh, have you done a mistake? No. If you are innocent, you have nothing. And I sadly say, nothing to hide. First, if the government has your personal information, it will help to achieve the national unity and integration. Nowadays, technology has become a media for hate speech and other nation-dividing issues. And also, furthermore, hate speeches, they invoke so much internal wars. Internal wars are orchestrated via technology firms. This is true. Technological firms like mobile phones, we have the emails. These perpetrators who spread hate speeches, they ought to have used social media or in way or the other, any media of communication. They either made calls, sent text messages, or anything else. So if the government is handed over these things, don't you think it will prevent so many things like the 2008 post-election violence? Do you want the same to happen during the 2017 elections? I bet not. So right now, if you open your Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts, YouTube, everything, you can't reason to find you always find any one way or the other hate speeches. Seriously, more bloodshed, more tears, orphaned children. The government will help to minimize corruption. Corruption, in one way or the other, in a large extent, depends on the technology firms. So if the government has the information that the bank transactions, the emails you have been sending, like right now, we all know of this issue that if they send something, it will be like, if they send you a message in your email, nimekutumia chai. So if the government gets that, it will be able to prevent it. More so, they make transactions to buy weapons. We don't want bloodshed. Neither do we want things that will make our country lag behind. That's why I propose this motion. I now rest my case. Thank you.
Opposers will hear your rebuttal. You also have 3 minutes.
Caroline Mwende from Chief Mbogori Girls High School, here to oppose the motion. Technology firms should share personal information about their users to the government. In digital era, privacy must be a priority, and read between the lines must be a priority. Is it just me, or is secret blanket surveillance obscenely outrageous? I mean, where should you go snooping around on my private affairs? Jane Mwende just talked about job opportunities. Now, my question is this. Do you really need statistics for people to get jobs? No. We really need statistics. We need statistics and not information about people. My pictures, my calls, my texts, what do they have to do, or how do they connect with jobs? What you really need to employ me is my education qualifications. Privacy is a fundamental human right, recognized in the UN Declaration of Human Rights, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, in the USA Court 4th Amendment, and most importantly, in our own Kenyan Constitution, Chapter 4, Article 31D, that states, every person has the right to privacy. Every person has the right not to have their personal information to private affairs infringed. Now, come to think of it, how would you feel, maybe probably in your room, dressing, trying to put your makeup on, and then you just realize that someone was peeping? That hurts. That feels as if someone has just, it's so bad. Now, on 21st February 2017, the government of Kenya wanted to be allowed to listen to your calls, view your text messages, and review your mobile transactions. Does this not grab your attention? Is this what we really want? Random people snooping around our personal sensitive information? Remember, relying on the government to protect your privacy and control your personal information is like asking a peeping Tom to install your window blind, and that simply makes us ironical. Again, let us talk of terrorism. Keep in mind that if you directly share or if you directly disclose personally identifiable information or personally sensitive data through Communication Authority of Kenya, this information may be collected and used by others. And note, Communication Authority of Kenya does not read any of your private online communications. Take of it. What if in the government we have a traitor? Aren't you afraid that this traitor is going to sell your information to your enemies? Remember, the more I have your information in hand, the more likely I am to attack you, because I know your strong points and I know your weak points. And disclosing of the information will be lowering our security guard. Thank you.
The proposers have been asked if the technology firms do share their users' personal information, does that not contravene the Constitution? And the opposition have been asked, if you're innocent, what reason would you have to want to hide your personal information? We'll have them respond to those queries. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
From Chuka Girls High School, Masinzambi, proposing the motion, technology firms should share personal information about their users with the government. Now, to answer the audience question about the freedom of expression, when you give out your information to the government, the Constitution says that you are given, the information will not be used against you. It will only be used if the court, if it is supposed to be used during the legal cases. And then, to my friend who said that the statistics and the people getting the jobs. Now, I want you to understand that this data that is provided, the statistics, cannot be worked by one person. Therefore, we need the manpower that is provided by these youths that have studied in ICT programs. From the other side, they say that random people are surveying our private information. It is not the random people, it is our government. Then, about the violation of people's rights, about the violation of your right to privacy. Now, why do you have to violate the rights of other people, the right to life? These people have been attacked during the terrorist attacks. These people, their life to own the property is being destroyed. And why do you have to violate these rights just in the name of safeguarding one right to privacy? Then, I would like to say that this information will help to curb crimes. Now, nowadays, we have had cases of crimes like in Afghanistan and even here in Kenya. These people nowadays, the terrorists, they carry out coordinated activities and heavily rely on technology. Now, most of the time, the technology that they use, it is for communication and maybe for their financial transactions if they were to carry out something to buy the gadgets that they want to require. So if this information is passed over to the government will be able to monitor all the activities and be able to arrest them before they carry out their evil missions. And then, the availing of the personal information will also lead to the development of the country. Now, through the personal information provided by the technology firms to the government, the government will be able to know about the individual companies and also about the individual business people and also the companies that are being carried out in our country. And with this information, the government will be able to link them with markets both locally and at international forums. So, creating more income for these people, creating more income for these companies, and also providing a better living standard. That is a way of achieving one of our sustainable development goals, by the way. And through that, the government will earn more revenue for the development of the country because there will be high taxation. With that, I rest my case.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
It has been said, and again I echo, democracy is your right. Privacy is your fundamental right. Freedom of expression is definitely your right. Ashley Kimathi, Chief Mbogori Girls. In the recent years, there have been allegations of government misusing what has been handed over to them. Let me answer the question that was asked. They asked about why, if you are innocent, why should you not give your private information? Are we not the same people who amended that constitution? Didn't you read the constitution and see about the right to privacy? It is something that we passed as a country. So it is as well our responsibility to respect what we passed. It is a law. So I believe if it is a law and if you're the one who passed that law, you have the responsibility to respect that law. Let me ask a question. They have talked about statistics and jobs. To our judges, when you went to look for a job, what did they want from you? Did they need your personal information? They did not. They needed your educational qualifications. That is what matters for us to get jobs. We do not need to know where you come from, your marital status, your bank statements. That is not important when you need a job. In the recent years, there have been allegations of government misuse of what has been handed to them. The National Youth Service misuse of money is a scandal that is public knowledge to all of us, though not yet justified. I believe we have severally seen of people pointing fingers at the government, blaming them for misusing what they give them the mandate to manage. Are we really going to walk down the same road?
dip our toes in the allegations of waters, dangerous and muddy waters that have drowned our trust. Once, twice, misuse of money is a scandal that is this what we want for all of us, though not yet justified. And trusting them with something we have severally seen of people pointing fingers at the government, blaming them for misusing we are handing over the key to our own destruction to manage. Is this data really safe with the government? Walk down the same road. The government may not in the very simple waters, dangerous and muddy waters that have drowned our trust. That same information you give them the mandate to handle against. Is this what we want for ourselves? As we think of this, let us remember them with every decision you make has a consequence. Essential and sensitive as your personal information. We are handing over the key to our own destruction. It's like giving whiskies and car keys to a teenage boy. The results are obvious. He's going to misuse that privilege. So meditate on this, set your priorities right, and make a wise decision. Are you willing to let someone you have no idea about, someone who you know nothing about their personality and nothing about what they wish for you, to handle your personal information? Make a wise decision. Thank you.
We're ready for final submissions from both teams. Proposition, you have 1 minute.
Mwanzia Jane Mwende from Chuka Girls, here to propose the motion. 1, the same government officials who will be handling my information, their information is with the government. So they con me, they get caught, a crime solved. My friend has a question. If you are innocent, you don't have a crime, you have not killed, the government is not in search of you, why keep this information for your own self? Give it out. You are innocent. You have nothing to hide. Aren't you interested to help people like Ezekiel Mutua, people who are really fighting to control the film's production, yet because they lack the personal information of the filmmakers, our country, the children keep on watching bad things, and it could have been solved. I thought we believed that me and you, we build Kenya. Then, why keep my information to myself, and yet we are building Kenya? Thank you.
Opposition, you have 1 minute as well.
There is an irony to this debate. Some years back, the government pressured the technological firms to prove their efficiency and improve the security of the personal data of their users. Why is this very same government now interested in our personal information? This should be something that arcs our eyebrows as citizens of Kenya. If I am innocent, then what business do you have snooping around my personal issues? You have no business if I am not a suspect to any crime. Remember, we have heard of Alex Mutuku, who hacked the KRA systems and made away with 4 billion Kenya shillings, tax that Kenyans have had earned money. Then, if he can do that, that is one single person. What if the government, who comprises of many people, get that information? What is going to happen to our personal information? We are giving them better chances. These rogue officials, these militia groups, our enemies, we are giving them better opportunities to attack us. So let us not allow them to do this to us, to have our personal information. Thank you.
I can't differentiate in terms of personalities that you brought in on board, because in terms of your style and presentation, I want to comment that all of you are good speakers on stage. The fact that you came in here and we could see the confidence that was brought in as well. The first speakers started off your teams very well. Second speakers, apart from Caroline, your work is purely to cross-examine, and so you're expected to, first of all, cross-examine and attack the other opponents by listening and telling us that you're listening. Brenda did that very well. Good submissions. However, Brenda, when you come and say that Nimekutumia chai, you want to explain to us what is that chai, all right, in English for the people who are listening. So you want to tell us that, translate that in other words. Mercy and Ashley as well, very good. Mercy, you're a very good speaker. You didn't start off very well, but you're a very good speaker. Fair question tackling. Ashley, I think what stands out for you is passion. You're very passionate, and I think even in your ending, you came out very passionate, and that's the reason why maybe the team chose you. And that is very good for persuasion. Nonetheless, the question was about personal privacy versus national security. I think that's where you both chose to lean towards, why we need to share that personal information. And I want to wish both teams all the best to all of you. Thank you.
Chuka girls, the judges awarded you 70.5%. Please give them a warm round of applause. Your opponents, Chief Mbogori girls, the judges awarded you 70%, making Chuka girls the winners of this debate. Let's give both teams a round of applause.
Very well. Congratulations to the two teams on stage. It was a very small margin, and we'd like to also thank you, our studio audience, and our viewers back home. Please keep watching. I have been your host, Austin Nyambok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. We'll catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.